I've got 220 hours. I do about 8 hours a day and it works out to about 21 in the week. It'll take about 5 weeks for me to complete my community service if I carry on with the 8 hours a day.
We have read and considered the report prepared by Hertfordshire Probation Trust. We are satisfied this offence is serious enough to merit a community sentence. You will undertake 40 hours community payback. You will attend the Integrated Domestic Abuse Programme. You will be supervised for a period of 18 months.
It's not unreasonable for people to think that people who have broken the law should be punished, and many they will think that should be prison. From the probation services perspective, we're about working with offenders in the community to make sure that they address the reasons why they offended, the impact they may have had on victims, but most importantly we want to intervene in people's lives so they don't re-offend again.
Community payback is one of 12 requirements that can be issued by the court, in combination with other requirements as part of a community order or a suspended sentence order. People on community payback can get anywhere between 40 and 300 hours. Community payback might help offenders by teaching them life skills, by teaching them employment skills. An example of this is some people have actually been working on probation and actually then gained employment through the work that they've been carrying out, and obviously this reduces reoffending.
Working with the communities is the core of our work, because our work is working with offenders when they are back in the community, and a good relationship with the community can actually make a situation safer as well.
One of our success stories is a village hall that was close to closure due to lack of funding and the condition it was in. We actually did the whole painting and decorating of the inside and the outside of the building, making it viable for them to then hire it out for functions. This gave the offenders great pride in the work and actually managed to keep the village hall open.
We was only told to do the gardening, and we ended up painting the shed, painting the fences, steam cleaning the thing, me and my mate who done it, because we put extra work into it. So in the end they were surprised with what we done, because we're there to do what we've got to do and we might as well make a good job of it.
And we've got a range of different specially crafted programmes to work and tackle different types of offending behaviour. In order for our probation staff to work out which type of requirement an offender should receive, every offender is assessed under our assessment system, which we call OASIS, Offender Assessment System. And that is a rigorous process that any offender's gone through to assess whether they're likely to present a high risk of harm or a high risk of re-offending, and to work out the reasons why they've offended. For example, if you take our domestic violence programme, the Integrated Domestic Violence programme, the offenders have to literally walk through and see life through the eyes of their victims, and the whole package of that programme of work that will take place across a year will address the impact that could happen to further victims and how they can make sure they can control their behaviour to prevent that from happening again.
Good evening, we're here this evening for the orientation for the domestic abuse programme, and we're going to start by thinking about responsibility of yourselves and thinking about what that means. Okay, and how we're going to do that is have a discussion and some thoughts around honesty and accountability. Okay, what do we mean by honesty?
The Integrated Domestic Abuse Programme is different from the other groups that we run because we have a lot more contact with the outside agencies, namely the police, social services, Crown Prosecution and women's services. This is because we are prioritising women and children and making them safe in their home.
The main purpose of Hertfordshire Probation Trust is to protect the public, protect Hertfordshire, and to work with offenders to reduce the likelihood of them re-offending. The offender manager is centre stage in making sure an offender completes their community order successfully. An offender manager has an important role in enforcing the order, making sure that the offender complies as required and holding them to account. But most importantly, an offender manager has the skills to inspire and motivate an offender so they recognise that they themselves have got the capacity to change.
OASIS is a structured assessment tool that focuses on the offender's offending behaviour, his pattern of offending, and all the different aspects of his life that may contribute to his offending. From this, we can plan the interventions needed for that offender. OASIS helps us manage risk of harm by identifying what needs to be done to reduce the risk and who needs to do it. And if necessary, we refer the case to MAPPA.
MAPPA, or the Multi-Agency Public Protection Arrangements, consist of the 3 statutory agencies, that's Police, Probation Service and the Prison Service, and a number of duty to cooperate agencies, for example, Children's Schools and Families, Housing and Health, who come together to develop a risk management plan to manage those most dangerous or risky offenders in our local community, for example, violent offenders or sex offenders. Fortunately, there are only a very small number of these. MAPPA works alongside a number of other structures that bring agencies together to manage risk. For example, with child protection case conferences, probation would work closely with agencies like Children's Schools and Families to ensure children were properly protected. An example of how MAPPA has been effective in protecting the public might include a situation where police and probation have worked effectively with the local housing department to ensure an offender is accommodated away from the victim of their crime. This ensures that the risk management plan can be implemented effectively.
A lot of people think that community sentences are a soft option, but they're not. They're tough. We run a lot of programs that are really effective in challenging crime and the causes of crime. It's quite tough for offenders actually to attend probation and to think about their crimes and to think about the victims of their crimes. A lot of things can be added to community sentences. For example, curfews, community service, all those things are not easy.
I've learnt not to commit any more crime, I've learnt not to drink so much, and I've learnt to think about other people more. That's what I've learnt.
The key purposes of probation are reducing reoffending, protecting the public, and hopefully reducing any further victims.
What drives me as a probation officer is I'm passionate about trying to change people's lives and for them to achieve positive change for themselves. What many people don't realise is that offenders themselves have often been victims of crime themselves. So our aim is to break that pattern.
What gives me satisfaction in the job is the amount of pride that people take in the work. Some people have never been praised for anything they've done during their life, just criticised. So to actually see them take pride in something, bring family members back to show what they've done, gives me immense satisfaction.
Research shows that the techniques that we use give people options to change and shows them different alternatives to change. I believe what I do helps offenders by teaching them communication skills, by looking at relationship issues, by considering their own emotional management, and by thinking generally about strategies to help them rehabilitate.
We work very closely with the other agencies in Hertfordshire, particularly the police, social services, Job Centre Plus, housing departments. Because actually everybody in Hertfordshire contributes to why people do not reoffend. We don't do it in isolation. We take a pride in our work. We always know we can do better, so I believe that is one of the ingredients you'll find in the staff in Hertfordshire Probation, that they're ambitious to deliver good, effective services, but also ambitious for the offenders we work with, that we want to see them change their lives and turn around. When you get something back from like the teachers or whoever you're doing the work, it does give you that little bit of confidence back, and it makes a lot of difference,